Greetings, dear friends. Welcome to the New Moon webinar, Meditation for the Common Good. Thank you for joining this circle. We continue our work, bringing our hearts and minds together, invoking the common good, envisioning the evolutionary path for humanity. In the current cycle of Sagittarius Capricorn, we've been working with the topic New Leadership Paradigm builds the Antahkarana that manifests spiritual wisdom. Today is the third meeting when we come together, reflecting and meditating on this topic. And today we'll have a chance to share further our ideas, our impressions, and offer seed thoughts for the thought forms of solution that would inspire and lead humanity. And through our meditation, using the energy of the new moon period, we will magnetize those thought forms and will radiate them to the mental field of humanity. So let us begin and invite Rebecca to take over and express our statement of purpose.
Yeah, so reminding ourselves of our purpose statement through our meditation for the common good. We're wanting to support the manifestation of the evolutionary spiritual plan for our planet through our group meditation, which focuses our power of joint intention for the common well-being of humanity and Earth's overall planetary life. We're also seeking to enable the recognition and manifestation of spiritual principles and laws in all areas of human life and activity, and to magnetize thought forms of solution that support practical actions that lead to the advancement of our planet and humanity. So in this month of Capricorn, with our topic of new leadership and the Antahkarana, bringing the spiritual wisdom into leadership, we're working with, in this time, with the earth element on the cardinal cross. We're using the cardinal cross to explore these topic areas related to new leadership and governance. And as we work within the sign of Capricorn, we remember that DK tells us that Capricorn guards the hidden glory of the soul, bringing the quality of inaugurating new cycles of effort and strain and struggle in the fight with the forces native to the underworld, or the strenuous conditions entailed by the test of discipleship. Capricorn provides the experiences and the spiritual resources which will help humanity to conquer the summit of the mountain and to emerge into the glory of the renewed sun spirit, enabling the illumination of human life and civilization. So within these influences, we're coming together today as we seek to form an Antahkarana for the inspiration that will support the growth of new leadership paradigms. And we begin our alignment, our group alignment, with connecting with each other through the naming circle. So over to you, Tracy, to guide us through that process. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. As we begin our focus today in this new moon meditation, the naming circle unites our hearts across distance as we begin our alignment and bring ourselves fully into our group work. By uniting our hearts in this way, we begin naturally to work telepathically through our group mind. The key to this telepathic work is in the etheric alignment, which creates the group field and allows it to become both a receiving and transmitting agent for higher ideas and energies. We will begin today by calling our names into the circle, starting with our organizers. And as your name is called, please unmute yourself. Say your name and where you are calling in from. For example, Tracy Arbor, calling in today from Dallas, Texas, USA. And as we go through this, let us turn our attention to our hearts and the heart center of our group gathered today, as each one of us calls ourselves into this circle. Alexander.
Hello, this is Alexander. Calling in today from Dead Sea in Israel.
Welcome. Rebecca.
Hello, this is Rebecca calling in from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia.
Welcome. Darcy.
Greetings, everyone. This is Darcy calling in from Washington, D.C. area, USA.
Welcome. Andrea.
Hello, everyone. This is Andrea Russ calling in from Manchester, Vermont, in the United States.
Welcome. Anne.
Hello, this is Ann Parker. I'm calling in from Venice Beach, California, USA.
Welcome. Anetta.
This is Annette calling in from Sorø in Denmark.
Welcome. Barbara.
Hello, everyone. This is Barbara calling in from Charlotte, North Carolina, USA.
Welcome. Bernard.
Greetings all. Bernard, near Strasbourg from France.
Welcome. Birgitta.
Greetings. This is Birgitte from Slagelse in Denmark.
Welcome. Dewey.
Yes, Katie, we are QTB, okay.
Welcome. Jane.
Yes, it's Jane from Findhorn.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Josette.
I am Josette from France, near Strasbourg.
Welcome. Kathy.
Aloha, this is Kathy Heller from Pahoa, Hawaii, USA.
Welcome. Kira.
Hi, this is Kira Lev, and I'm calling from Southern Florida, United States, USA.
Welcome. Lynn.
Hello from Lynn Green in Ohio, USA.
Welcome. Ruth.
Hello, everyone. This is Ruth Dittmar. I'm calling in from Corvallis, Oregon, USA.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone. Now that we are linked together as a group, let us share a few moments in silence to align, forming a triangle between Shambhala, the hierarchy, and humanity. May our efforts be of the highest vibration in selfless service for our purpose. Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Following our ritual, we opening our floor for sharing. So please feel free to unmute yourself, and if you are muted by an organizer, please raise your hand and we will unmute you. And just to remind us the questions that during the full moon meditation, Darcy offered for us, I'm putting them on the screen. Those are the questions that helped us to focus our attention on the topic of our meditation this month, and they definitely not limiting this big realm of ideas related to new leadership paradigm that emerges through the contacts that we build with our soul, our individual soul, and with the group soul as we work within different groups. And also reminding us about the opportunity we have to share when we are offline. It's our community impressions board. I will put the link to the our Google document where we can share. It will be in the chat just in a minute. That's a great tool where we can share any resources or inspirations that we found relevant throughout our 2 weeks periods of meditation when we hold the focus as a group on our meditation between full moon and the new moon. So the floor is open. Let's start building our coherent group sharing, preparing for the meditation. And as we share, let us listen each other and listen to through our group Antahkarana to impressions that seek to come and be expressed as thought forms that we will be holding in our meditation today.
As I sat in meditation this morning, I asked about colors and was connected quickly to the natural world around me at this time. Since Friday, Friday, a big snowstorm came, and our world has been locked in snow and ice since then. And as I look out my windows, what I see is white, mostly white. Occasionally the sun shines, and there is this glistening that is like a burst of many tiny rainbows. And then the clouds come back, but it's still white with just some, occasionally a mild color highlight, but mostly gray and green. And then we have a pair of cardinals that have been living outside our house in the yard. And he is just brilliant. There is that brilliant red that will be sitting for a long time in the sleeping forsythia bush. Or if I look out the west window, he's sleeping or sitting in the sleeping snowball bush. But that has been the color outside of us that we seem to be harmonizing with. I seem to feel a harmony with, a vibrational attunement with. And within the house is the brown and the green lives inside in all of the house plants. So I think there's a connection there to the heart, as should be at this holiday season. That leads me to the third statement in our three statements. The statement about purpose as the energy that will, the first ray energy, the energy that will lead us to solving humanity's problems. I think the vision that we have brings about our purpose. And I think that, again, that in the second statement, invocation and evocation are methods that our group and all the new group of world servers, one of the main tools we have for actually attuning, fulfilling our purpose of attuning our material world to the higher worlds of Shambhala and the hierarchy. We, through invocation and evocation, we set vibrations in motion that are the connecting force between the worlds. This is Lynn, sending out love and thanking you all for being part of, allowing me to be part of this coming together that's happening. Thank you.
I am Josette. With the work of invocation and evocation appears to me in the imagination, creative imagination, appears the building of the Rainbow Bridge, and I visualize it as many subtle threads with many colors, and especially purple, green, and others, and very subtle and very light. And from the building of this Rainbow Bridge emerge new thought forms to solve humanity's problems. A work of creative imagination. Thank you.
Bernard, in this period of Capricorn, I feel very strong this invitation to look inside, like the nature around us, to come in calm silence around surroundings. And it's also time to connect this light in the center of Earth. And preparing the future spring. the new life. Thank you.
I'm going to go back to the colors that Lynn touched on as we're in this Capricorn season and the holiday season. And when we, it's winter, our winter time, not all over the world. In some places it's not. But it's interesting that the colors that symbolize these particular holidays during this time of year are the red and white, which is the will rays, and the green and red again. So the green with the, opening the heart during this season. And with the with Hanukkah, you have the blue colors. So we're getting into heart and then devotion with the blue colors. And blue and white, you always see the different blues and whites. And of course, our solar is the indigo. So second ray permeates everything and helps everything along, kind of like the mother ray that nurtures all the others on our planet. And everything is tinseled with silver and gold. And what is silver and gold? I mean, we're trying to turn that silver and the different metals into gold. So I appreciate that Lynn brought up the colors and that Darcy had us contemplate on the colors and their qualities and connections, because I never really put it all together till right now. Maybe you all have, but I want to thank you all for that, because it's interesting how we are so helped and guided and we don't even realize it. So unconsciously, these colors that are brought in during the season are helping lift humanity in their vibration. So thank you.
Bernard, the color white of the snow can be understood as no color, or the synthesis of all colors. And for me, it's also a time to enter in a purification process, the color white is for me the color of purity, perfection, and after all the colors in fall, in the fall period, this passage through the color white is also significative. Thank you.
Like Bernard and Tracy and Lynn, I too am surrounded by the white snow in the mountains of Vermont. And like was mentioned, for me, that white is the synthesis of all colors. It's all the race, which I think we aspire to have be a part of humanity in the future. But in addition to the purity of the white, there's a purity of silence that is here in the woods of Vermont. And that silence is not the absence of sound, but within that silence is all sound. Thank you.
In the visualization that happened for me earlier that I spoke of, this is Lynn again. One color that was important that we don't consider often, I don't believe, that I believe is also a synthesis of all colors in the earthly sense, and that is brown. I had to give credit to that color because it is the foundation of growth. The earth, the brown earth, that maybe isn't in that perfect harmonious balance yet that allows white to occur, but yet that brown is what grows the greenery that I think represents in many ways the love and our pathway to a perfect synthesis. Thank you.
Aloha, this is Kathy from Hawaii. My work and my use of the rays is very young and doesn't necessarily include colors yet. But my alignment, my personal alignment is is from Ray 1, the will, carrying love wisdom as the field to harmony through conflict. I've been a lifetime professional, working with building teams and mediating and that sort of thing. So that's a natural progression for me, and so the will carrying this vast field of love wisdom from from the love consciousness of the universe, and then providing the tool of harmony through conflict. Harmony for me is a seafoam green, and I am surrounded year round by the green and the ferns, like that image that was on the last slide of the globe sitting next to ferns and the green permeating everything, and the sentience and presence and purity of the plant kingdom is a constant. And then the mineral kingdom, the lava is the land is very young under me and is not quite soil yet. It's mostly rock, lava rock, through which all of this green is growing, and will grow over everything if left to its devices. And that the green I find quite soothing. That it's a seafoam green of a gentle wave coming in onto a sandy beach that is soothing somehow to my soul, that gets so worn by the toxicity and poisons of the rhetoric and the divisions and the way humans are with each other. So that's my my bubble that's sustaining and guides my work. Thank you.
So, Katya, I recently saw the information, which I'm not quite sure if it's accurate or not, because it was off the web, that our sun actually is a white star. That whatever we see as yellows is because of the filters that we have. So whether it's accurate or not, it made me think that there's really so many things affecting the color in a different light. Different colors will look differently. Same color will look differently. So in a way, when we're standing now in Capricorn, the main source of the true, for me, stays with the light itself. This almost like no color transparency that allows color to emerge. can reveal itself. This inner relation to color. But first, to the light. Thank you. And I also have to say that I really appreciate this thought about the many thoughts that shared. That this, I never thought about this brown color, that when you mix all the colors together, in the end, it becomes brown, right? So I think that there's some very interesting thought that if you see through, you see different spectrum of colors. If you just physically mix them all together, you get a very different result. But that result is a sum total still. In a different way, but it is. So thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
Bernard. We can also consider that light is the same, is light to the link between light and color is the same that the link between silence and sound. And colors are emerging from light, like sound emerges from silence. Thank you.
This is Annette. Ledbetter has written some very interesting books, and it Besson too, about colors. They have written a book about thought forms, about the chakras, and Ledbetter was very keen in clairvoyance, and he has in one of his books, I don't really recall if it is that called Chakras or another one that where he has a color a whole side of the book is devoted to the colors, and he has translated them to emotions, because the vibrations of the different bodies is giving the colors a more bright color, and for instance, the color red, he has the brown reddish brown color as the lowest form of the second ray, as lost and not very pleasant emotions, and the light red and light blue as the devotions and the heartfelt devotions. And it is very interesting. He has also written a book about music forms. I don't know if you have written that, where he has asked an artist to paint what he has described. He can see clairvoyance after music is played in churches, for instance, and different music is producing different artists' forms and different colors. It is very interesting, and I can recommend these books. Thank you.
It's interesting that our conversation got colored so much with the question of color, and it's very beautiful, and probably there's some kind of hint for us in that as well. So it's when we meditated during the full moon time together, and this first question, I shared it after the meditation that my impression was that the color white came as a color of the synthesis and the color of the group soul that brings together all the colors together. And we several times, several people mentioned the color white today, and this and another manifestation of color white, it comes with the salt. We're here at the Dead Sea, and there's a lot of salt, and the beach is covered with huge crystals of salt, and it's white. Of course, there are different colors of salt, but most prevalent color for salt is white, and it's color of synthesis, color that brings all rich minerals together, making the resultant product white. And I thought of the phrase from the gospel, which I'm not sure how it sounds in English, because I was reading gospels in Russian, and so I'm translating it in my mind. So it's when Christ was talking to his disciples and believers in general, and said that you are the salt of earth, and if there is no salt, then there's no taste, and the food can be thrown away. And so thinking about our topic, leadership paradigm, and That's in a way leaders without connection to the soul, to their soul. Or if it's leaders of a country, of a nation, to the soul of their nation, it's like food without salt. It's worth nothing. It can be thrown away. And only those leaders who connected to their soul, who have and who are the salt, in that sense, as Christ was talking about, they can really produce what the nation requires, or what the group requires, and or whatever community requires. Just recently, I read again from Externalization of the Hierarchy, where DK talks about disciples, President Roosevelt, FDR, and Prime Minister Churchill, who met in the middle of the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and together produced the Atlantean chart that defined the development of the world for the next, we can say, 70 years, maybe more. And so that's leadership that really brings the spiritual will to earth, and that's really disciples who align themselves with the higher will can bring that higher essence, the higher wisdom to manifestation.
Thanks for that,
Yes,
Sandra. I'm going to.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to add to what Alexander said, which also will tie in with what he said, that salt is used for a disinfectant. You know, whenever there's a wound or infection, if you add salt or salt water to it, it is, back even in ancient days, they used it for cleansing, purifying. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
This is Annette, and I just wanted to say I think it was very well said, Alexander. I've thought about the same thing, but I didn't know how to say it so beautiful that you said it. Then I also wanted to add that we probably all have learned in physics in school that the white light, when we see through a prism, then we get all the colors. So that is quite right. Also physically, that the color white is is all colors, and I agree. We need to have just not just the first ray, the strong will as leadership, but also the soul ray too. It is not necessarily the second ray, but often it is. And I also think, and you can also see the countries that don't have the soft rays in their ray makeup, they have problems with their feelings in their leadership, if you can say it so hard. It depends on how long the road you are conscious in your consciousness, of course, but you need to have your soul to help you to take the decisions in leaderships. Yeah, thank you.
And, it's interesting because I also was thinking about the salt and its qualities, and also was remembering that phrase from the gospel. And I thought that it's interesting about the measure in Agni Yoga books. It's the measure and commeasuring things. Often, often mentioned. So the salt, it's very easy. It's a very easy lesson for measure, because if you put too much salt or just a little bit too much salt, all the tastes are gone. And the only thing that we feel is like taste is salt. So it feels like very important, this aspect of measuring and the ability to do that. And that is the function of the soul that allows us to measure.
I want to ask Darcy to just say a few words about the document in that I added to handout. Darcy asked me to share this document, so maybe you can just guide us, Darcy, in understanding.
The document was shared recently. Hold on, let me pull this up. And given out at a recent event by Lucis Trust in London. And what you will see is a working document of how they are utilizing the rays. The rays, the 7 rays, will be falling under and being utilized by the psychological, the new science of psychology, which will help the souls coming into incarnation, and but all across it intertwines the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rays that fall under the aspects of governance, finances, politicians on the 1st ray. And the 2nd ray, of course, is the ray of the New World religion. And the 3rd ray is falls under the Department of Intelligence and Adaptability. And that then you see that at some point, the three aspects used through the fifth then can cover all fields of education. And so it's a beautiful document that has been put together by a group of world servers, of disciples that have been working at this for about 100 years. And so I wanted to share that with the group. I was so excited when I saw it. And there's also a wonderful little meditation in there that helps the linking up and building our personal Antahkaranas, our rainbow bridge, with the triad, which is our personal responsibility individually, and as well, because it makes our service more effective, which what I can bring to the group. And then we combine all of our rainbow lights that creates a fusion of energy that then supports the work that is moving through us and we're being called to do. We create and we jump on another Antahkarana bridge that actually helps facilitate hierarchy and Shambhala. And it's put in a very easy format and has all the references, and the visualization that's given will help link up to the three aspects of the soul. The soul, the solar angel, and the angel of the presence. And it's just very well put together to help bring a little clarity and in a very new field that the whole Antahkarana, the Antahkarana has been being worked with, of course, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years by the hierarchy. But they just decided recently, within our lifetime, to introduce it to humanity and to help to facilitate actually ties in with the field of science of astrology, science of triangles, science of the evocation and invocation work that we use. And because then this second ray world of love wisdom, it works with sound and vibration. So they've also given us and released ancient mantras and words of power that some of the hierarchy were a little bit nervous about, but they did. And so as we learn to work with the colors of our personal souls and our personalities, we become that rainbow bridge, and we will help humanity to move up and to bring down those higher hierarchical energies that they're not able to contact yet. But we are training ourselves to be that receptive chalice and distribute that. So I hope you find it useful. And what I loved is that I'm glad to hear our French group members here, because that apparently is where the new psychology will come through, is through France.
Thank you, Darcy. So you can find this document. It's in the handout section of the control panel. And if you're on your phone and you cannot download it, or would like to get on your email, just let us know and I will forward it to you. And considering the time flow, I want, before we move forward to the next part of our work today, just want to ask if anyone else would like to share.
It's Rebecca. I'm just really trying to absorb and digest these beautiful images that have come through, and the brooding over the idea of the snow and the salt. And one of the thoughts that's with me that seems relevant to the topic is this idea of the purification of our thinking through the process of brooding, which, or pondering, I think the Tibetan calls it, but brooding that happens in the darkness of winter and in the quietness that Andrea described, and can produce the purity, the crystalline purity of the snow and the ice and the salt. And it seems a very important part of the Antahkarana building process, this deep brooding that will allow the reception of the higher ideas and the thoughts that allow them to synthesize and come together in us to be able to become present in the manifested world of salt. Thank you.
So let us prepare now for meditation. And before we go into meditation, which Darcy will lead today, let us have a minute of silence and focus in our mind the most resonant thoughts that we've heard today from someone else, or that precipitated in our mind through this process, that we could offer into the group chalice during the meditation, giving the voice to that seed that would become a thought form, to be magnetized and radiated. Over to you, Darcy. And I think we can go a few minutes over our time. So please lead us.
Alignment. we recognize our spiritual community that has been active in the conversation. This includes the group of people present and the subtle, unseen, and hierarchical beings that bless and support our work. Let us affirm this group fusion within the heart center of the new group of world servers, mediating between hierarchy and humanity. I am one with my group brothers, and all that I have is theirs. May the love which is in my soul pour forth to them. May the strength which is in me lift and aid them. May the thoughts which my soul creates reach and encourage them. We recognize our place within the heart center of the group of world servers. Mentally, extend a line of lighted energy towards the spiritual hierarchy, the planetary heart center, to the Christ, the heart of love, within the hierarchy, towards Shambhala, where the will of God is known. We visualize the glowing beauty of the chalice, which our work together feeds and fills. To help with the conception of this chalice, I bring you the words of Master DK of a magical phrase symbolizing the chalice. These ancient phrases are often untranslatable. He states that he puts them into English words, which will make their meaning clear. Phrase 1 for the mind. Like a golden butterfly which flies in the face of the sun, I find myself poised upon the lotus petal of the earth. I hover. I stay a little moment and then I fly into the golden pathway that leads into the sun. Phrase 2 for the emotional nature. There is no darkness and no fog. There is no night or day. There are no storms nor peace, nor rest nor strife. Only the steadfast will of God which works towards good. Phase 3 for the physical etheric body. Down from the mountaintop I come, bringing the light of life, the life of light. Into the chalice of the form I pour that light, which life confers, this life which light sustains. I see this golden light transform the darkness into day. I see the blue of life divine pour through the form, healing and soothing. Thus is the task performed. Thus is a man of earth transformed into a son of God. Working from the standpoint of the 7 rays of life which pour through, are expressed by, and are transmitted through the science of triangles, and therefore of astrology itself. It is also related to the rays, the constellations, their ruling planets, and our Earth in a great synthesis of energies. The constellation Capricorn synthesizes its work with Aries and Leo triangle through ray 1, with Cancer and Libra through ray 3, and then with Aries and Cancer in ray 7. It is in 3 of the 7 triangles, producing the new age, mass movement towards liberation, release and light, and produces initiation and the overcoming of materialism. The 7 rays of life on the spiritual path build the Antahkarana when we as students do well to consider the building of the Antahkarana as an extension in consciousness. This extension is the first definite effort made upon the path to bring in the monadic influence with full awareness. And finally, directly, from the angle of the disciple, the rainbow bridge which he builds between the personality and the spiritual triad is composed of 7 strands of energy or streams of force. Once the soul ray dominates eventually, and in the rainbow bridge, the colors of one's rays are heard vibrating. The note of his ray is seen. The bridge built by humanity as a whole is one bridge composed of a multiplicity of individual bridges, built by the many disciples, formed eventually of 7 strands of streams of energy coming from the 7 egoic groups. All human beings who reach the stage of soul contact contributes. Humanity will eventually complete this bridge. Their dominant strands of light fuse into one whole, and their lesser strands are lost to sight in the radiant light of the 7-fold bridge. At the end of the world cycle, 1 ray light and color will predominate. The 2nd ray of love wisdom, with the 4th ray as the subsidiary ray. Building the Antahkarana is relatively a new process. It is known and followed by those who are training for affiliation with the hierarchy. It must be borne in mind that we are concerned with energy, and with energy that must be scientifically used, or the whole teaching will prove futile. Secondly, we are dealing with a technique and process which are dependent upon the use of the creative imagination. When these 2 factors are brought together consciously and deliberately, the factor of energy substance and the factor of planned impulse, we have started a creative process which will be productive of results. The first ray quality is dynamic. The point at the center is the first ray of power, and its technique is never to move from that center, but from that point to work dynamically as inspiration by the Father that inspires response from the material aspect or from the Mother. From the point of the builder human or divine works by the law of synthesis, by the fiat of the will based on a clearly formulated purpose and program. The first ray disciple, to best of the one's ability, seeks to meet the requirements. Personality and soul fusion has to be consciously attempted and to some measure achieved. And then these blended factors are held steady in the triadal light. Another point of focused intention is now brought about, resulting in a new and still more dynamic tension. In the completed silence which results, the act of projecting the Antahkarana is performed, and it is then carried forward on the impetus of a word of power. The meaning of the word of power to be used at this point of accomplished projection might be summed up in the words, I assert that fact. The quality of purpose the deity brings upon its first ray is clear vision, sense of time, detachment, singleness of purpose. Ray 2, love, wisdom, the word of power. I see the greatest light. The quality of this second ray is love divine, radiance, attraction, and the power to save, wisdom. Ray 3, the active intelligence or adaptability, the process of intention and visualization, followed again by the 4 stages of projection technique, having been concluded. At the point of highest tension, the disciple utters the word of power for the third ray. Purpose itself am I. The mental silence is simply a point of intelligent concentration. The difficulty is that one must overcome the tendency to use it with the idea of the physical plane results in one's consciousness. Always, one works from the angle of the divine quality which characterizes matter. Quality purpose of this deity, the power to manifest, the power to evolve, mental illumination, power to produce synthesis on the physical plane, scientific investigation, balance. Ray 4, harmony through conflict, its word of power. 2, merge with 1. The quality of its purpose, power to penetrate the depths of matter, the dual aspects of desire, power to reveal the path, power to express divinity, growth, the harmony of the spheres, the synthesis of true beauty. Ray 5, through the planet Venus that is present right now and working hierarchically through Capricorn, the word of power, 3 minds unite. This asserts the fact that the universal mind, the higher mind, and the lower concrete mind are blended through the projected Antahkarana. the quality of deity's purpose on this ray, emergence into form and out of form, power to make the voice of silence heard, initiating activity, revelation of the way, purification with fire, manifestation of the great white light. Ray 6, devotion or idealism, the word of power. The highest light controls, quality of purpose, power to kill out desire, spurning that which is not desired, self-immolation, endurance and fearlessness, power to detach oneself, overcoming the waters of the emotional nature. Ray 7, ceremonial law or order, the word of power, the highest and the lowest meet, the quality of purpose of this deity, the power to create, power to co-create, power to think, revelation of the beauty of God, mental power, power to vivify. We connect again with our topic. New leadership paradigm builds the Antahkarana that manifests spiritual wisdom. We take a few moments in the silence to reflect on all that has been said and our responses. And as we do this, we allow seed thoughts to crystallize that capture the essence of the threads from the conversation that are meaningful to us. And with love, we offer our seeds into the chalice. We invite all who feel to offer a seed thought to do so, each one unmuting and speaking as they are moved to. We also honor those who choose not to speak, but who silently offer their formulated seeds into the chalice. After each vocalized offering, we will allow each seed to rest in the silence for a while before the next one comes.
Let soul-focused leaders emerge in all fields of human endeavors and lead our nations and our communities on the evolutionary path.
The power of unity.
through the brooding of the soul in the deep silence and purity of the Christ Mass, we receive the magical life of the threefold archetype to illumine our civilization as a rainbow.
Light reflects rainbow's colors in unity.
Vibrations as feelings and thoughts or music can be seen clairvoyant as colors. The finer bodies, in the finer bodies, the colors are more bright and more fine tuned.
Every aspect of our lives is intrinsically intermingled with and expressed through the Deva kingdom, the David kingdom, in order to aid our evolution.
The new leadership paradigm of both politics and religion works together as one.
Let our awareness be raised by the purity of the revelations that we receive from the colors, notes, and silence that surrounds us. Let us weave these vibrations into the vividly synthesized span of the Antahkarana, a bridge of illuminated snowflakes.
building the bridge between lowest and highest.
Unto the purpose of the plan, I bend my little will. I am one with the group which seeks the furtherance of the plan. Distribution. With purposeful intent. The group visualizes and focuses the group intention towards the distribution of the resonance created by the fusion of seed thoughts. We draw together the seeds within the chalice, allowing them to vibrate and resonate within the embracing light of the group vessel. We see the resonance of our combined seeds filling the chalice and vitalizing its radiant light, enhancing the beauty and wisdom of its tone as it flows forth into the world, expressing on the mental, astral, emotional, and etheric planes, radiating to all receptive hearts and minds. As we seal our work together through this meditation, let us sound together the great invocation and visualize the irradiation of human consciousness with light and love and power in its original form. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center, where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.